Who is that? Is that Don?
Hey, there's Don.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
What's
What's going
Don.
up?
on, Wild Thing?
I'm going.
Not much.
I'm going.
Doing all right.
I'm I'm hanging in there best I can. God's got a greater plan, you know.
He does.
So we got to stick with that. And
Listen,
right.
when you have kids, you cannot keep your house spotless. It's a. Who is that? Is that Don?
Hey, there's Don.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
What's
What's
Don.
going
up?
on, Wild Thing?
I'm going.
Not much.
I'm going.
Doing all right.
I'm I'm hanging in there best I can. God's got a greater plan, you know.
He does.
So we got to stick with that. And
Listen,
right.
when you have kids, you cannot keep your house spotless. It's impossible.
No. And
I
not
mean,
only that, not only that, when Summer come up missing, the police come in and tore our house to pieces.
oh yeah, they will.
Man, and none of them can ever dispute. And we told our boys and Summer and our kids every single day that we love them with all our heart, and we done everything we could for them. My
I
probation
mean,
officer is making me leave the state after he told me I could go here and work and change my office here, change my probation here, and all this happy-go-lucky stuff. And now he's pulling everything out from under me and saying I have to go back to Tennessee. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I just
yeah.
assume that everybody's calling my probation officer and saying all kinds of bad stuff about me. I don't know.
Maybe.
Because after
I mean, I think it was bullshit that they put you in shoe for that long.
they put me in solitary A block. That's where
Yeah,
Fred Hill is. That's where Fred Hill is now. A block. He's probably
I,
got my old cell.
I,
A05.
Dang.
from what I
He's
heard, though, he's in there for protection reasons, though, ain't he?
That's what they told me. I
Because I
didn't have
reckon he
no.
got
They
pretty.
moved
He
him
got a
because
rude
somebody tried
awakening
to
when he
kill
come
him.
in.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe that story. He probably ripped somebody off. Is what it is. Fred Hill used to roam around. I'd get up like if I got up at 2 o'clock in the morning or something and looking around. He'd be out on somebody's horse with a flashlight, walk riding
That's
around
that's
for
weird.
who knows what reason
That's weird as
all
crap.
night long. I caught him one time. I went to talk to him. I've talked to him several times because I thought he has to know something. I caught him on other people's property, taking taking stuff from other people's property.
Oh, that's what he's doing on the horse then with a flashlight.
Well, he has a golf cart, and he was on a
Oh,
golf cart and taking people's stuff from other people's property. And I never said nothing till this
yeah.
point.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, I just don't want him to be lying and just trying to get out of jail and trying to work some kind of deal or something. That ain't cool at all.
he's been lying since day one.
But I don't trust him either, though. I don't.
I've been up to his house several times trying to get answers, and he started talking about meth monkeys out in the woods and everything else, stirring me off in the wrong direction. I mean, yeah, all kinds of wild stories he'd tell me, and
How
I'd
do we
just
know
leave
this ain't
there.
another one? How do we know he's not even making this up? Dead men tell no tales, right?
Exactly. He's just
That's
trying to get
exactly right.
notoriety, money on his books. That's all he cares about.
And I thought it was convenient when I found out that old Cotton was dead.
Exactly. He's going to blame it on the dead man. Really?
Hmm.
Wow.
Sometimes
And then,
people will do things to get get the look off themselves. Blame it on a dead person. That's a good way to go
well,
about it.
I'll guarantee you the detectives are trying to talk to him, but he keeps talking him way out in left field somewhere. And that's why I want to beat his ass so bad because he
And
could be the person responsible for Summer's disappearance because he got meth heads going in and out of our road day and night, all day long, all night long, and he could be the person responsible for Summer's disappearance. And he
yeah,
wants to sit there and talk crazy. The boy needs his ass beat.
yeah, he probably gonna get that.
He
I
needs
mean,
it.
eventually he
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
get that.
He's looking at probably a decade in the pen, so
Yeah, he's
Well,
gonna
he
get it.
wants
he'll get his
he,
fair
he
share.
wants to play games after my daughter's disappearance.
That's what's so bad about it.
Yeah, exactly. When
I mean,
when
if
the
he went
police
there,
when the
and
police was up there at my house, I says, "You're not going to go knock on Fred Hill's door or some of these meth heads around here." I says, "Then let me the fuck out of the way, and I'll go do it myself." And they says, "Well, we can't stop you, Mr. Wells. You're a free man." I said, "Yeah, that's right." And I went over there and I drove to his house, and I about kicked the fucking door in. And he's like, yeah. Well, I seen some meth heads up there on the ridge, and blah, 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 and talking all kinds of crazy. Yeah.
that seems awful suspicious to me.
Cannot get a straight answer out of him for nothing. And here he is playing games again on Ziggy's Live and everything else. Cannot get a straight answer out of him.
Brittany's right. He is also detoxing at this time
Yeah,
when he was
he is.
sitting there
Exactly.
rattling off. So
He's
He is.
he's a everyday user. He shoots that crap in his arm.
Yeah, and it's
so
gonna
he's
take a
probably
minute
been
for his
sick
head to
for
get
the last
straight.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Uh-huh.
the last 2 weeks he's been sicker than him.
I felt sorry for him, and I give him a black truck. I says, "You haul that stuff off, whatever, get," because I didn't want to clutter up my driveway. He hauled that crap off. I says, "The motor's good. It's a brand new motor, bored 30,000 over. You know, and all he needed to do is put a harmonic balancer in it." But he hauled it straight to the junkyard for meth. I think it was. Oh man, I don't know.
And honestly, the best place he could be is jail because
Absolutely, I agree with you 100% on that.
I mean,
Yep,
you know,
that's right.
at least they'll
That's
keep him off
right.
that crap for his head to get right, and maybe he might have an answer to something, and then they can give him a lie detector test, and then maybe then they'll get somewhere.
Yeah, I agree with you. There was a lot of traffic coming in and out of our hauler because of Fred Hill. He needs to own up to this shit. That fucking asshole needs to own up that
And you
he's
know
the
what else,
fucking
Don?
reason that all that traffic was coming in and out of our hauler. And I want to beat his ass so bad and make him realize this.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And another thing is him having that horse, you know. And I was wondering, like, if somebody, you know, if they could have lured somewhere to the road with a horse or with an animal, you know, because the dog, you know, they traced her footprints and her smell,
Well,
her scent down there.
I'll promise you that Summer would never leave our property, but there's the possibility that someone could have lured her, like you just
As
said.
a little kid, as 5 years old, we
Right,
don't know. I
right.
mean, you
That's
hold up
right.
something that they love, like a horse or a puppy or a
That's
kitty
right.
up, you don't know.
Yes, that's right. That's a possibility. I don't think she would ever leave from around our house unless she was lured, like you said.
Because have you ever watched them shows that they do? Because they'll get the
Yeah,
parents sit up and they'll go, "You
yeah.
think your kid wouldn't talk to a stranger?" And every
That's
one of them,
right.
every time they do it, it's because
Absolutely.
you know people like that. They're
Yep.
so manipulative. They know what they're doing and they plan it ahead of time.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. Yes,
And they
ma'am.
sit and wait and watch. And you know, I said from the beginning, I said it's got to be somebody close by there that I
Yep.
think because they're sitting watching and
Yep.
waiting for the right second, just the right
I
second.
I agree. But there's one thing we got to stick with. There are two things we got to stick with. The boys are the last one that seen her go down in the basement, and
Yeah.
number two, the dogs, the police dogs, followed her scent not down the driveway, but down the dog trail, and it dead ended on the road.
Okay.
That's what
So
we
still
have to go
right by
with.
the road. That's still right by
Yes,
the road.
right. Which means she was thrown in a vehicle. And
That's what I said.
Fred Hill was leaving out that time, hauling some scrap metal off at that time.
Oh yeah, I heard that on that
Did he have a
Ziggy's.
red truck?
No, he doesn't. He has a yellow
What
Nissan,
about
and
that cotton?
I don't. I have no idea. I have no idea on that. I don't know. I don't. I just don't know.
Did you know cotton?
No, I don't. The only people that I know is the people I work with all them years, Tucker Drywall, and all of them pretty much disowned me after this happened.
Dog trail.
Yeah.
That goes right up to that flat spot before your driveway, correct?
Yes, it does. I put in that little Mary's husband used to work at the school in Church Hill. He had a trailer house on the property of the school in Church Hill, that elementary school. Mary and her husband, I can't remember his name. So, what was his name? But yeah, he gave my mom that playground equipment from the school, and I put it in there for my kids.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but it's only like, yeah, it's right good by the road, pretty much. That flat spot you're talking about,
Yeah.
yeah, it's right there.
Right.
Don, do you know who a Chad Arnold is?
Yes, I do.
And so, somebody asked me. Said,
Yeah,
Ken,
Chad Arnold was married
died.
to. No, he didn't die.
I thought he died.
Not that I'm aware of, anyway. But Chad Arnold was at Fred Hill's house when when Candace was looking for Summer. She drove back in a holler to Fred Hill's house, and Chad Arnold was hanging out back there.
Hmm.
I've been to Chad Arnold's house before, and he had all kinds of people hanging out in his
was he a
shed.
cracky?
Is he what?
Was he like a meth head like Fred Hill?
Yes. Chad Arnold loves his meth. Yes, he does. I went to visit him. Chad Arnold trains horses and stuff. He's really good at that. But he loves his methamphetamines.
That's
Is he a offender or anything? Is he on the registry?
Not that I'm aware of.
Because I did see quite a few around there whenever I looked. I pulled it up, you know.
I went to his wife's house and visited with Chad Arnold a few times for various reasons, trying to get truck parts or whatever. And yeah, he's definitely showed me some big pieces of yeah, he's definitely into that stuff.
Did Fred Hill act like he had something like schizophrenia or something?
Yeah, he has meth-induced schizophrenia.
I was
Yes.
going to
Yeah,
say,
I've heard of that
I've
part.
heard that. I have too. Yeah. It's almost like psychosis from meth. It causes
Yup.
a psychosis and a
Exactly.
If somebody's already predisposed to getting it, it
Yeah.
actually
causes
pushes
it
it
to set
along.
off.
Some people
Yeah.
can have it their whole life and not get the side effects from it, but the drugs can push it to it.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I've seen a difference in people because some people don't act the same on that stuff. You know, you can see some people on that like they completely lost their daggone mind. Like, I mean, you know, like
Do
in
you
another
think
whole
Chad
fellow
Cotton and
over.
Fred took some, or somebody just asked me that question?
I have no clue. But it's just like Dudley. That weekend, I guess he went and done dope all weekend. He showed up Monday. And I guess I fired him Monday or Tuesday. I don't remember.
Broke one wing.
I can't deal with that stuff. He said I ripped him off for money and everything else. He's lying.
Oh yeah, well he lied too on that interview.
Yes,
Whenever he tried
ma'am.
to act like he was such a good, upstanding guy.
And,
You know.
and we've seen that, everybody that has been mentioned has went down for
Yep.
some
Yes, sir.
crazy shit.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
So
Yes, sir.
sort of
And
what
I'm not.
everybody is talking
And I'm
about.
not. And I'm not claiming I'm an angel, because I'm not.
None of us are.
No,
I'm not.
no, I mean nobody is
We all
saying that you
fall
are.
short.
I mean,
Well, no, I just want to make that clear with y'all. I'm no angel. I'm trying.
None of
I'm
us are,
really.
dog.
I'm trying. But it's so hard.
Trust me, we all fall short. I showed my ass yesterday. I ain't even gonna lie. I did.
He's
Don,
hiding
how do you
right
feel
now.
about Andy and Jody Sue?
I don't
How do you
think
feel about Andy?
I don't think Andy had anything to do with anything, but I will say that Jody Sue's the biggest nutcase I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Why didn't she like y'all living there? Or why didn't she want people to sell the property around?
We've done everything we could to help Jody Sue. Even my private investigators went up and moved all her crap for her. Drove up that steep ass hill with his 4-wheel drive and moved all his stuff out of there. She tried to give us some a cigarette machine and some other stuff, and we was like, no, that's not right. That's your husband's probably or whatever. We don't want it. And she was just trying to be mean to Andy or whatever way. But our private investigators moved her crap for her out of the kindness of their hearts. Candace went up there and helped her out of the kindness of her heart and everything else. And we barely know her, and why she turned on us and said all this crazy stuff is beyond us. Other than trying to start her own YouTube channel or whatever, I don't.
Maybe get back at her husband and just y'all
Yeah,
were just the side effect of it.
all these haters just come out the woodwork like cockroaches. It's
Is
crazy.
it, how about that other guy? What was his name? That he's a real bad dude. The one that got in trouble.
Don Sherfy.
Yeah, that Sherfy go because wasn't he friend
Yeah.
with Brandon Lawson too?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know them people. All I know is Don Sherfy Sr. got with my stepdad's sister and had something going with her that I'm not aware of whatsoever. And why he turned on us or why Mary, my stepdad's sister Mary turned on us, I have no clue. I know my mother, when she was alive, told Mary that she was going to get the property, the property that we have now. And my mother told me that, that Mary and her husband Cecil and all them, worked for her hourly, and she led them along, and they thought they was going to get the property, and they was really just kind of, my mom said they were basically con artists, and she turned the property over to me, and that really pissed them off. But I don't know the whole story. That's between my mother and them, and my mother's deceased now.
Yeah.
So I don't know the full
When
story.
people pass away, all kind of stuff goes on like that in families.
Exactly. And, my mother had a court battle with the Hills, which would have been Jody Sue's or Andy's kin. They had a court battle over a piece of property across the street over there, right across from their house. And then the people bought that property in the back and just took over the property that they had to dispute over, and they couldn't do nothing about it.
Now, a minute ago, Don, you mentioned Belton.
Yeah.
The Bernard fella.
Yeah.
Do you know if he's any kin to any of the Bernards in the Belton area?
I have no clue, brother. Andy Bernard seemed to be pretty up and up to me. We bought weed from him from time to time. He'd come up and says, "Man, I got some good weed, whatever," and we'd buy weed from him from time to time. And Andy Bernard has always been pretty straight up with this, and has never really caused us any problems or anything. So I really can't say anything bad about Andy at all, because he's never done this wrong. But his wife,
Was more the problem.
yeah. But Andy's never done us wrong. I just hope and pray for his kids, that they turn out okay and everything. But Jody Sue Brown, she's lied on us continually.
Yeah, how old's your boy? How old's your oldest son?
I
Don,
don't
can I ask you
know.
a question? Did they rule her out as a suspect?
they haven't ruled anybody out as a suspect.
That's
So
what I
that's a
thought.
straight,
That's
yeah,
what
that's
I
a straight
did.
lie right there. I mean, if she was at the bottom of the hill and Summer come up missing like she claims,
Hmm.
why would they rule her out as a suspect?
And didn't Andy have a alibi for about being 45 minutes away,
Yes,
an
yes,
hour
ma'am.
away? And she
Yes, ma'am.
said that she was
Yeah.
waiting on Andy to get home, but she and planning her wildfire.
Well,
She said
Andy,
on PG's.
TBI told me that Andy was at work. He's got definitely a rock solid alibi at the time of Summer's disappearance.
Yeah,
So then why would she
but
say that?
she
You know?
said that she was waiting on Andy.
Well, that may be, but Andy did
But
show
Andy
up
had an alibi to
later
be
on.
about 45 minutes an hour away.
Yeah, he was
And
at
then
work.
she said she was planting her wildflowers.
Uh,
That's a
definitely
little
Joe.
sus to me, I ain't gonna lie.
Definitely Jody Sue has no alibis, but her husband Andy definitely does. He was at work at the time of Summer's disappearance.
Wow.
TBI confirmed that with me, told me that because I was concerned, and I went to them with that, and I was like, "What about Andy?" And they told me, "Well, he was at work. He has a rock solid alibi." And I was like, "Okay, yes, sir." And but definitely Jody Sue does not. She's a liar. She's the biggest liar I've ever seen in my life.
And she said out of her own mouth, I think I heard her say she didn't even like kids that much.
I have somebody in the
Yeah.
chat wants to know, Don, said, what kind of party did you have before Summer went missing and who was there?
What kind of party?
I've never heard of that yet.
That's kind of a rude. That's really a rude question. I mean,
never
because we
heard of
didn't
a party before.
we didn't really have parties or whatever, but that's really rude. Whoever and disrespectful for whoever said that. The only kind of parties we had is like I'd go buy fireworks with my kids, and me and the wife might drink a beer. You know what?
Yeah.
If
I was
that's
gonna say, if you
illegal,
got
I mean,
invited to a party at Don's house, you better have your hiking boots on to walk up that driveway.
right? But I didn't.
That ain't
I
a place
mean,
you're just going to go
I mean,
hang out and party. I mean,
well, we would usually hang out with our kids and maybe light fireworks, and we might even light a bonfire for our kids, and we'd sit there and just have a good time with our kids. But as far as a party, I mean, if
Well,
that's what you want to
I
call
think
it,
they meant it because they just want to know if anybody was there as a sus,
didn't
like a
know.
friend
Yeah.
party.
That you didn't
no,
know.
we didn't really have friends over there. But people might show up like, there was a few people that might show up begging for money. There's a few people, I won't mention them by name and I won't put them out there like that. But we had a few people that might show up that was
Mhm.
begging for money so that they could go get their pills or whatever they wanted. I recognized that and I understood that. But Candace's mother or whatever didn't quite understand that. But I understood that. But usually they might loan them $10 or $20 and they'd go their way. I won't mention them by name, or anything. But as far as a party, no.
I think it was pretty much a question just to see if anybody who was up there suspect.
more of a
suspicious.
gathering, not really a
Yeah.
party.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
any
The only
oddball out or
gatherings, yeah, we had gatherings with our kids, because we
Yeah.
loved them, and we bought I'd buy fireworks all the time, and like I said, me and Candace ain't perfect. We might have a drink or two or three. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, and but that's
Nobody's questioning
pretty much.
Oh, Marlena's
Yeah.
daughter's birthday party.
I don't know about that. Yeah, she was up there for a while. Marlena's daughter, but Marlena, I don't, I don't want to say nothing bad about her either. I've already said all I've had to say about her. Journey, you're talking about Journey. Yeah, Marlena's daughter's name is Journey. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, man, well, I've already been through that.
Yeah.
These people go out and steal and sell they steal for drug money to get high. I mean, that's what they do. We try to keep them away from our house and stuff, but on the other end of the spectrum, you know, like Marlena, we tried to help her out, and until we realized that she just wanted money for drugs, you know,
Mhm.
and she would dump her daughter off at her house, and you know, it's a sad situation. But about 2 weeks before Summer come missing, I told Candace, you need to take Journey to her grandparents' house or her cousin's house and get her. We ain't doing this, you know, because Marlena would just dump her off at her house and just leave her there and go out and party or whatever she was doing. And I'm not going to do that. So about 2 weeks before Summer come missing, Candace took Journey to her grandparents' house and put her in safe hands. And then
It
about a
sounds like
week and
that's
a
where she needed to be, maybe right then.
right, yeah, because Marlena was just dumping her off at her house and just leaving her. We wouldn't even see Marlena. She didn't. She didn't give a damn. To be honest, Marlena was the type of person. If you was friends with her, she'd come over to your house, and if you wasn't home, she'd steal everything off your porch and everything else, and go sell it for drugs, and buy drugs and everything else. She was doing it to her own sister. She was doing it to us and other people that we know of.